And a great friend of ours with TWRA, Mark Thurman, just threw out in the car one day, what if we could get them to go somewhere else and leave the caves? What if we could just get them out of caves where the fungus still stays after they've been infected and just give them an alternative? And as we started to talk about those ideas, we kept coming back to Mark's idea. What if we could do that? And that started us on this journey, and I called it our crazy idea. And whenever we would talk to Bat Conservation International, they're not here today, but they were one of our partners on the design. We would say, you know, is this just crazy? And everywhere we went when we talked to bat experts, they said, no, it's not crazy. In fact, it may be one of the strongest strategies that you guys could try to develop. And so that's all I needed to hear. And so we really were able to partner with TWRA to allow us to build the cave near an endangered bat hibernaculum. And we bought this property years ago and gave it to the state, and they were very generous in allowing us to try this experiment so close to this to Bellamy Cave. And our friends in Cookville, Fish and Wildlife Service, they never told us we were crazy either, so that was always encouraging. And so here we are today. We're still fundraising to pay off the construction of this site, but we've had amazing, generous donors. This has all been paid for through private funds. There are no state or public funds or federal funds in the cave itself, or in anything we did above ground. So I want to thank all y'all for coming. And Cory, will you take a minute and say a few words, and then we can move it out. We've got water over the hill and shade.
Okay. I'll mostly talk about more technical aspects of the artificial cave, but I do want to reiterate a little bit about our crazy idea. And what Gina didn't say is we had this concept for a while, and we're very, very quiet because it's a pretty wacky idea, just at face value. And we started talking with Fish and Wildlife Service, Bat Conservation International, the world's experts, and everybody told us that sounds like a great idea. And it has it's now in the Fish and Wildlife Service National Plan as a top strategy to combat white nose syndrome, although it remains an unproven concept. And this project right here will hopefully prove this concept. But it's expensive, it's risky, requires private dollars because it has that element of risk. And I'm very honored and proud that we've been able to pull it off. And it's not been a one-man show. We've had a lot of help. A lot of these world's experts we keep talking about, they volunteered their time. Nobody was ever, sent us an invoice for the hours I spent on the phone and computer with them, trying to learn about how to build this thing properly. So, I guess more technical aspects. We're standing in the artificial cave. This is the bat entrance. But the basic design and concept is that it has to function as a cold air trap. Bats like it really, really cold in the wintertime. The gray bats that are in Bellamy Cave are about 160,000 in the wintertime. We found white nose syndrome in that cave last year on gray bats. But they like it from about 5 degrees C to 11 degrees C. And really, on the colder side is their preference, and above 85% humidity. And that's a little bit of a challenge in Tennessee to build that. But we have lots of caves that have those same characteristics, and that's what we tried to copy. So very basically, we're at the bottom of the hill. Cold air sinks downhill. You saw sort of the V-shaped barrier we have up there that's catching that cold air as it comes down. This is a warmer air side. There's no ventilation out from this side. One of the things we wanted to be sure to do is not just have one type of climate for these bats. Bats move around through the winter inside a cave, and in a natural cave they'll have access to warm pockets, cold pockets, and they can move around a little bit, and that's sort of our warmer area. The bulk of the cave is the cold area, so we've got this cold air coming down, and hopefully, maybe some of you saw the big green pipe sticking out of the field up there, and that is a little over 30 vertical feet above us, and that's critical to the design. That creates sort of a draft, drawing warm air off the ceiling of this side. So we've got that constant cold air sinking, warm air rising, maintaining cold temperatures over there. Hopefully, we'll see. It's never been done before, so we'll see if we can make it work. Outside of that, we've got our water and humidity over here. We have to maintain at least 85%. Seems to be what the bats like. So we've got water little catchment area up here, plumbing water into this basin down here. And hopefully every time it rains, that'll be refreshed and it'll, fill this thing with a little bit of water, just enough to keep really high humidity in here and also have a little area for the bats to drink out of. Other than that, the folks at Old Castle did a great job with the texturing. They did all of our precast. We had a lot of conversations and explored a lot of avenues of how to get the job done. One of the things that was critical for us was that we could replicate it. If it's successful, we hope to build a lot more of these or help other people build more of them. So we wanted it to be replicatable, easy to build, and using existing materials and technologies, and just be pretty simple. So we've got the texture on the ceiling that Old Castle hooked us up with, and it doesn't really look that rough. We don't have it in here. But when you get close, it has a lot of little nooks and crannies for bats to hang on to, and I think it's going to be really great. There's the basic mechanics of it.
How are you going to get them to come in here for it?
We're going to be broadcasting ultrasonic. So bats use this high-pitched ultrasonic calls for echolocation. It's what they use when they're flying and foraging, and it's what enables them to fly through caves, complete darkness, and to find small flying insects at night. So they broadcast these calls and they come back, and it works just like sonar. But during the fall, they breed, and they have what we call a fall swarm around their natural caves. And that's one of the reasons we've located this site, is because the Bellamy Cave is a major fall swarming site. We have hundreds of thousands of bats come together here in the fall to breed. So we're going to be broadcasting those calls from around the entrance area starting around the 1st of October.
Cory, when do you think that we might start seeing fall swarm and bats around this area?
We're hopeful for early October. They usually start, it's a little bit weather dependent, but once you start getting some cooler weather, they start showing up.
How many bats could be housed in here?
Well, physically, so gray bats can cluster up to about 275 per square foot. We have a lot of square footage, especially if you include the walls where we've got textured areas. We could it could physically fit over 200,000 bats, but we'll be happy with, I think, realistically 10 to 50,000.
Will there be any treatment of bats in the winter when they're hibernating?
Not initially.
If they're exhibiting signs of white nose.
Right, so that's the other untested concept of this project is we know we can control the fungus. We have sort of the traditional scenario we see in a natural cave is year 1 you see the fungus, year 2 you have a much greater increase in prevalence of the fungus and some sick or dying bats. Year 3 you have mortality and typically a lot of mortality. So the general thinking is that it's an environmental load of fungus in the cave system that causes the variation year to year, sort of the buildup from year to year. So our hope is that we can treat this in the summertime while the bats are absent, only treating the environment, so that every year it'll be sort of that year 1 scenario, where bats will undoubtedly be bringing it in with them, they'll have it on their bodies, and we're not going to be able to keep it completely out of the environment, but if we can keep it at that year 1 level where you don't have major health problems or mortalities, that's our goal.
How will you actually clean it?
Well, we're going to start out probably with quaternary ammonia compounds and a lot of water. So quaternary ammonia is the active ingredient in like Formula 409, and that's what we use right now to treat, to decontaminate our clothing and cave equipment. And it works really, really well. In the laboratories, it's shown to kill this fungus pretty easily. So we plan to just spray it, hose it down, see how it works. But we'll be working with some university partners to identify exactly what that's going to look like.
If the bats sort of don't go for it this year, are there things you can do to get them back, to spread the word among bats, or get them to look at it again next year?
Sure. Well, so we're a little behind the ball. We had planned to be where we are right now about 2 months ago. And we've got 2 big issues to contend with right now is temperature and humidity. So all of this concrete and the dirt around it carries a tremendous amount of thermal mass. And cooling that down, our refrigeration engineer told us it's going to take about 6 months. So we're going to install some portable air conditioners in here and try to speed up that process. And after that is humidity, which again, all of this dried out concrete, all of the dirt that's been baking in the sun for 3 to 4 weeks on the surface that we covered this up with, it's going to take a little bit of time to get the moisture content up and all of that. So those are the two things that we'll be fighting the first year.
So when do the ACs go in?
Well, we got the power turned on today.
Thank you, TWRA.
So I will probably be going tomorrow to pick them up. Other questions?
How long until you know that it's successful? Or how long until you feel
It is a long process. So we have a lot of small successes. I mean, the first success, even in the absence of bats, is seeing that we can maintain those critical temperatures and humidity levels. After that, it's just a matter of getting bats. And after that, it's really a 3-year window after we even see bats. Because a normal cave, you don't see mass mortality until about 3 years after seeing the fungus in there. So it's being able to claim full success is really several years out.
And it has not been found in the cave that's supposed to be here.
It has. We found it actually this winter.
Okay.
Yeah, on March 27th.
And then why concrete?
Well,
Why is that a good material to use?
it's a perfect material because it doesn't insulate. So we've got sort of this cold air trap, and I'm not a refrigeration engineer, and I thought we would want this super insulated igloo. And as soon as we contacted airflow experts and refrigeration engineers, they told us, no, you want concrete. And it's just because it has to do with the thermal mass. So we've got the air coming in is hopefully colder than the earth below us. The earth below us will be average annual temperature. So here you're talking 52 to 55 degrees. And that's what you're fighting. You're trying to keep it colder than that. But you have to have, it's critical to have sort of that base temperature rather than an insulating layer.